Shuri and Attuma usually don't cover them until a month after. Well, I'm putting them all in November because we're going to do some fun things in December. I think we're Welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time for the November 2022 update to the general tier list. Keep in mind, the idea behind this one is the champions who will best help you efficiently clear content, right? Big content, little content, but it's basically questing, war, battlegrounds. They can come into play if it's really a bit of like a tiebreaker for which tier they should be in. Other disclaimer, remember, this is just supposed to be a snapshot. Ultimately, I hope that this is something you come and look at. Maybe we enjoy the fun debate on where they should be. And you're like, maybe you've pulled the champion. You're like, what does Vega and the MCoC Illuminati think of Colossus? Where should they be? And then ultimately, you need to go do your own research. You need to play that champion. This spreadsheet will be linked in the description. You can go and you can see the link there that will take you to a playlist on my channel. It's either going to be filled with videos I've made, someone on the MCoC Illuminati, or another content creator I really respect. But ultimately, you need to play the champion because the fact of the matter is, one, this game is so big and so complex that one champion is not always going to be better than the other. And two, if you don't like them, you're just not going to play them. And also, this game's so big, I bet that if you don't like Bishop, let's say, there's going to be other champions like maybe Storm who would fulfill that similar need or thing that you need a mutant champion to do. There's other options you may enjoy more. Make sure you would like and enjoy the champion before you rank them up. Okay, I'm going to kind of briefly explain how to go through this spreadsheet, how to use it, the legend and all that stuff. If you're not interested in that or you've already seen it, I will leave a timestamp. You can jump directly to it, the rankings now. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter. I will post a screenshot size of this as long as my channel member Adam continues to do that for me. Huge shout out, thank you to him. I'm at Vega Playbook, and I'll probably start posting this on Instagram too, also at Vega Playbook. This will all happen about 2 weeks after this video goes live. All right, go ahead and jump farther if that's what you want to do. Okay, we're going to describe this very quickly for those of you who are new to it or just interested in it. You can see I've got listed here in this upper right hand corner. This is a lot of MCoC Illuminati. Other people have done some great videos helping me out, giving me my information, but also videos I think would help you as you're progressing in this game. You can see the legend there. Anything that's really interesting, the one I always do like to point out, there's a couple, right, is the microphone talked about in this video, the little heart-shaped envelope, meaning they've been buffed directly or buffed by a synergy. We've seen a lot of champions like Agent Venom who've been buffed. And then the little video game monster there, that's the Go Ask Suida, because like I honestly don't understand how he does what he does. He's just outrageously good. I keep seeing the videos just like you do. And I don't know if that's a reason to elevate them too much into this tier list, but that's where they are. And then you can see we have the tier above all. They're the absolute best. Top shelf. Heck yeah, great pool. It's awesome. You want to rank them to whatever the highest rank is in the game. I think it makes a lot of sense. There's really no doubts about it. Super premium, like, yeah, go ahead. Maybe let's check and see what else you've got there or why you're wanting to rank them up. Premium, that's like, for me, kind of like, yeah, they're good, but let's really think this through. Why are you doing this, right? What are they fulfilling in your roster, that sort of thing. And then call is like, that's the basic, like you got to be at least the call tier to get even on this tier list. You'll notice there's champions who are not on it, that I'm not going to say they're in the meme tier or anything like that, although that is funny, but I don't want to take up space on the spreadsheet itself or in the video talking about them. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the Mystics. There's no changes in the tier above all, but we have our first massive promotion in the top shelf. I've been talking to you about Wiccan for quite a while now, right? Bryce, MU8 in the MCoC Illuminati, has been showing us the way with his rank 4 Wiccan for quite a while, used him in the Battlegrounds, the tournament I've been hosting. We saw the cool stuff. Well, I was able to pull him myself and took him to rank 3, got him awakened, and immediately that day, my BG planner, war planner clown was like, hey, does anyone have a rank 3 Awakened Wiccan that they've been hiding? It's like, actually, I just took him up today, used him to solo a null boss, and I've just been putting out video after video of amazing things he's doing in war. Now, we knew that he could do it, but it's another thing to actually experience, have me putting out the videos and doing all of that. I remember way back when he first came into the game, I did the MCoC Essentials video on him. I absolutely loved him, and he definitely fits what Campo calls, and it's a great term. He's not niche, right? We used to use that in this game as almost like a put down. I think the game's getting so big, it might actually be a compliment now, but he's definitely a bit of like a specialist. That's why in some of my war videos, you see I'm only taking 2-1 fights like that, because Clown Team was like, I'm not sure totally where to path him yet, but those fights he's good for. He dominates. I used him. I'm looking forward to using him if Gauntlet comes back, and then Act 8 as it goes on. There's a ton he can do. He's got that really nice neutralize. If the defender has buffs, you're going to have a great time with Wiccan. So he's up there, top shelf. I don't know, he might be too much of a specialist to ever get into tier above all, but as this game grows, I think specialists might be what you want. It feels like we're getting more and more hard counters in this game, and it makes a lot of sense, and it's a cool design space. Speaking of hard counters, I think it's a great way to kind of do Spider-Man Supreme. If there's a lot of buffs, you're really going to enjoy him too. The damage gets really good. He can also be a good defender, but that's something we'll talk about more in the Battlegrounds video, which will be coming out soon as well. I like him. I don't love him. It's a Spider-Man, so I think there's that initial thought of wanting to really like him. But the way he interacts with buffs, he doesn't necessarily steal them as much as he's copying them. I personally currently prefer a Nullify or a Neutralize in this game, but I could see there being defenders and or nodes, right? Like we're seeing that with Force of Will and things like this, where Neutralize doesn't really work out, where you're going to start to want to see champions like him. I know this is going to sound odd, but bear with me on it. I'm kind of starting to place him in a similar box, let's say, or quadrant or whatever you want to call it, as Wong and America Chavez. We'll talk about Wong a little bit here in America and why I feel that way. But that's right now where I see Spider-Man Supreme. I do think he could be one of those champions as the game progresses, gets more valuable, right? We just talked about this kind of specialized role and how I think that's actually starting to become a good thing in this game. But as this community gets him more, that's going to be one of the best ways for us to discover uses, right? Just so many of us, so many smart players out there and showing us things on Discord, Line Chat, and YouTube. I have the microphone next to Wong because he's actually someone who DLL, kind of a smart guy, right? Was saying that Wong might be someone who should be promoted. I know Jinx on my Discord server has really been promoting Wong a lot, put a lot of thought into a nice write-up on that as well. I'm going to currently leave him there because I do have one. I don't love playing him. I do think the ramp is a bit much. I do think once you get there, though, you're golden. I didn't find myself using him at all in Act 8, but that could just be due to my own personal enjoyment. If you've been using Wong in Act 8 or late stage Act 7, please let me know. That's the kind of thing that would be really helpful in helping us get information out. I'd love to see it. And I do think Wong is very good. Keep that in mind. Premium tier is excellent champions who can help you clear content. But if he needs to be promoted, I would very, very open to that. And then America Chavez, it is out. Yeah, it is. I wanted to check with myself, make sure I'm not getting myself in trouble. She is going to be getting a buff. I am excited. I'm trying not to get too excited because I don't think they're going to buff her to be, the next Doom. Right? She's not going to be the next Diablo with a champion or Hood who's been buffed in that way. If that happens, I will be elated. But I would love to get her in that super premium tier. That'd be fantastic. That'd be great. Like Juggernaut. Whew, that'd be a cool thing. But she's someone who's not interacting with buffs, with a Neutralize, nor with a Nullify. She's getting stronger. And I think it's going to be about how much they're allowing us to punish these buffs and how many buffs are required for her to start punishing, really, really start punishing. Which will make it so that she either niche or she's specialized. I think that's the thing there with that. All right, let's go ahead and jump into mutants. The first group, and you see 4 microphones there all together there in the super premium tier. I'm going to talk about them as a group, even though they're all very different. That's kind of how mutants are, right? And I know a lot of people said it, well, it reflects the way they are in comics and movies and things like that. And that makes sense. And I think that's actually really cool. That they're all really different. They have these different powers and things like that. And yet we can still group those 4 because I really think there's a good to great argument for each of them being into the top shelf tier. And I want to actually ask you, the viewer, do you think they should be bumped up? How much are you using them? As I talked about, this game is so big and complex. Like I tore through Act 8.1, and I actually think I did use Sunspot. I know I used Sunspot quite a bit in Act 7 because you needed a variety of debuffs, or not a variety, but a lot of them. And the man puts out a lot of debuffs. I love Domino. I love just playing Domino. I know there's RNG with her, but when it's good, boy, is it good. And even when it's bad, it just means that that buildup you had is going to take a little bit longer. Namor, we continue to see uses for that SIG ability of his. The damage is very good. And he's getting that synergy with Attuma that actually might buff him quite a bit. I think it's a little bit of a, I like it. I like the troll. I'm considering a bit of a troll there. Those of you who've been playing the game long enough will know what I'm talking about. I respect it. I like it. Kudos to you, Kabam, on that one. And then Toad. Some of you even commented in the last one that maybe Toad should be moved up. It'd be a little weird because Emma Frost would just be all by herself in Super Premium, and she can do a ton. I think there's arguments for her too. But because the game is so big and complex, I think a champion who's going to have that much versatility almost needs to have that damage component too. And yes, I know she can have it, but I don't think it's frequent enough to move her up. So I'm curious on your thoughts. Namor, Sunspot, Domino, Toad. I really think the Illuminati would be supportive of moving them up too. But I didn't want to make too many moves in one video. I think they're fine where they are now. Let's see if in January we have them pushed up. Now let's move on to the science tier. All right, in science, the big mover here is Quicksilver. Now, hopefully you've seen my Essentials video on him. I did do the early review. I'm realizing when I first got him, using him in war, and I was like, this champion's incredible. He's amazing. He can do so much, right? He's got the slow, which also allows him to bypass and miss. Then he can start parrying non-contact attacks, not to mention the massive damage. Plus, he can gain buffs, but he doesn't gain the buff from dexterity, which is helping him out with neutralize and things like that. He's fantastic. I love him. If you're like, hey, I really just don't get him, because I do agree, there's a lot there, and his animations can be a little tricky. Watch my Essentials video with him. That's really what those videos are aimed at, is here's the essential information for you to get started, to get going, go out there and play this champion, get better at them and with them. And then as time goes on, you can get into that really super high tier nuanced gameplay, but get that essential information in, go out, get them, have a great time. And if and when you watch that video, you'll hear me go through it more, but I really think he might be the best science champion in the game. The game's so big and complex that it's very rare that you can say that definitively these days, but I think he's definitely deserving of being in that conversation. Moving on to the super premium tier, we have promotion in Titania. You know, DLL, he does these really great when the notes basically come out, the abilities notes on a champion. He does a great job with them because he's actually been able to play them. In some cases, he's play tested them extensively, and he gives you, I think he calls it like the play test with experience or something like that. But they're really good, and you could tell, I've known the guy for like 5 years. He really liked Titania. There was a lot in there. And when I first put her on the list, I was like, each champion can go unblockable, unstoppable, and indestructible at the same time. It's going to have some uses. And we've already seen that. Karate Mike with the Eternity of Pain solo, that Terrax there. I pulled Titania, immediately took her to rank 3 just to get that objective done. I was like, oh wow, this is a thing. Used her in Battlegrounds, absolutely enjoyed that. She places so many debuffs. So just being able to place that many debuffs, plus like I said, indestructible, unstoppable, and unblockable all at the same time, there's going to be uses. It's just a matter of how much. Right now, is she niche, where it's like, hey, if that comes up, she's going to be the best for it, or where there are going to be a variety of nodes and defenders and modes that we can use her in. I want to keep an eye on that. It is tempting to move her up even farther, but I'd like to see more than just like a single EOP boss. I'd like to know if people are using her in Act 8 and things like that. I've already got Act 8 done. I'm not really going to go back in and do it again with her, but when 8.2 comes out, things like that, I'd love to see it. I think that's a great place. I don't see her going down anytime soon, potentially moving up to that top shelf. Now, Spot. Spot is, and this is going to just be how I think Spot, Shuri, and Attuma are all going to be. And for those of you who are like, Shuri and Attuma usually don't cover them until a month after. Well, I'm putting them all in November because we're going to do some fun things in December. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. And so there will not be a general overall tier list ranking like this. We're going to do a lot of individual stuff, have a great time, debate, kind of like think about like that conversation you have in a sports bar, like what's the best video game ever? What's your favorite from your childhood? Who's the best point guard ever played? So anyways, Shuri and Attuma will be in this one. But Spot, Shuri, and Attuma, to me, again, I can group them together in this way. They all are very well made. That is certain, in my opinion. What is similar about them all, aside from that, is it's not clear immediately where they're going to be used, right? Like Hulkling came into the game and I was like, guys, Hulkling's going to be amazing. I'm going to go get him. I was on a pool deck in Cobblestone Lucas drinking pina coladas. Maybe you've heard this story before. And I had probably about 3 in. I was like, you know what? I'm going to play test Gallon. I did 2 fights and I was like, it is abundantly clear where he's going to be used. It was obvious. Spot, Shuri, Attuma, I don't think it's as clear. Attuma a little bit more, but Spot and Shuri are like, they're really good. And Nick136, okay? Nick136, great YouTuber, really awesome participant in my Battlegrounds tournaments. He really likes Spot, and I watched his videos on him, and it got me thinking like, okay, I see it. I see what this guy's talking about. I don't know exactly where he's going to be used. He's unique. He is a little weird. I personally really do want him. I think it's going to take time. It's going to take time. It's going to take the intelligent community as all, you, the viewers, all of us, really play testing it, having more nodes and questing come out, and for us to say, like, okay, Spot was awesome for this, for us to know how specialized is he? I mean, is this guy getting to Scorpion type levels? I don't think so. I really don't. Or is this more, hey, he's a little niche, super premium because he's dominant in his niche? I think we're going to see it. We're going to find out. If you have strong opinions, let me know, especially if you have experience with him in like Act 8. I would really appreciate that. Okay, we're done with science. Let's go ahead and move on to tech. And I think the only, we got two. Okay, we've got the Rocket Raccoon buff. I was going to playtest him live, got sick, couldn't do it. Now, I did use him though in the tech chapter of EQ, where I don't think he's ideal, right? He's not placing that shock you can put on his power drain. And that's not like your ideal way of playing him. And I really liked him. Now, of course, you're getting those Fury, so it's upping his damage, but I don't think damage is his problem. I'm not even really sure he has a problem at all. But I'm not worried about being confused or misled by like escalating damage that's not going to be readily apparent or there for you in other modes or things like that. He's still a little flimsy. You do have the ability to utilize his shield or whatever it's called. I like that they leaned into the character with the scrap and all that. He's clearly a lot stronger versus metal. So keep that in mind. Anyone who's got the nice heal block and things like that, that's nice. Anytime you can compare positively a champion to Warlock, I think that's a good thing. I don't think he's top shelf though. And if you disagree, I would again like to know, especially if you use him in Act 8 for this sort of content. I think he's going to be powerful in Battlegrounds. We'll talk about that in the Battlegrounds video, which will be coming out soon. I like the armor break. I think he's unique in the tech class too. So I really enjoy that. Someone I'm glad I have it ranked 2, and I think he will be going to rank 3 for me soon. It's good. Solid buff. Really, really happy about it. Now, let's get on to Shuri. I think Shuri's one where I really do believe she's well made. I don't think this was a miss. And in fact, I'd be surprised if when time comes, if they even buff her. The thing is her ramp takes a while. Again, MP Blaze play tested her and found that he could get up those shocks. I think he said to 99 or whatever like her limit is, and kind of just keep them up and keep transferring, which allows the damage to really get going. She has tremendous versatility. It kind of reminds me of Cap Sam Wilson, where there's just so much in there. I don't love how easily accessible it is. Again, that reminds me of Cap Sam Wilson. There's so much in there that it's almost like the flow. If you've heard me talk about the flow, which is how often is the ability just there when you want it? And with Shuri, I don't know if that's happening. I think it's gonna take time. It's gonna tell, and I think she's gonna be someone who's probably better in longer content. It's just where is that longer content coming from, or when will we get it? I like her. She's going to be a problem on defense for people. I think anyone who has no contact attacks is going to be an issue. You really want to make sure you either just desperately or you definitely know how to play her and punish those non-contact attacks or heavy in her specials, or you're going to want someone who's going to be able to parry them, like Proximate Midnight, thanks to Karate Mike, and or Quicksilver. If you watch my Quicksilver Essentials video, you know he has that ability. I think he's someone who will be able to handle someone like her. If you've pulled her and you have experience with her, let me know, but that's just kind of my sense on it. I feel pretty strongly on that one, but I'm curious, I'm always open to the idea that I'm wrong or there's more to learn. All right, and then we get to the skill class, a promotion that I know a lot of you have been asking for. My boy Nas really kind of been improving for a long time, but I just wanted to see it through. I wanted to get Act 8 out, and I think just as more of us have gotten more comfortable with Black Panther, his playstyle doesn't seem as risky maybe as it once did. Plus that 100% ability accuracy reduction that he can obtain with that high SIG, I think the SIG 200 is necessary. It's starting to feel good. Again, the game's just gotten bigger and complex, and that's allowed certain champions to go from feeling niche to specialized, right? There used to be a time where we're like, well, no, I want above 100%. That's the problem with Falcon. I have said things like this before. But the fact of the matter is as that game grows, well, sometimes there's champions who can go above it, and then you know what? There's times where you just need 100, and that's great. He's fantastic. He's awesome. Tons of damage, being able to turn things off. I think this is a well-deserved, well-earned promotion. Probably could have been a while ago. Valkyrie and Massacre, kind of similar, right? They're both wanting to hit the block. I've seen Bitter Steel do a lot of really cool things with his Valkyrie. B. McGee's been talking her up quite a bit. I would like to pull one myself. I want to experience it. I believe she will definitely be on top shelf, but I want to experience it for myself or have enough of you tell me, like, dude, get her up there. Massacre, kind of a similar thing. A lot of what I see, though, that I've liked out of him has been out of like FinTech and Battlegrounds tournament, and this is not a Battlegrounds tier list. That being said, I could see it easily translating into app content. I've recently taken my MCoC to rank 3, and I'm looking forward to using him more, potentially getting him up there. I think Black Cat, we could have a similar conversation, especially as the game grows, where there's literally anything that has a chance to happen, whether it's the defender's abilities or a node itself. You've seen the melt that she actually just puts on champions there. Getting to Blade. Blade is a recent promotion. MCoC Illuminati is the reason for this one. I've been kind of down on Blade or had lower thoughts on him, but they're like, no, look, dude, you get into the high sig, especially they're like, even put in the synergy emoji if you need to with Spider-Man, and you can throw in not Cosmic Ghost Rider, but Ghost Rider if you want. The old Trinity. But he's doing phenomenal things. The heal on him is fantastic. Getting rid of the debuffs early. The bleed is still very, very strong. I know Legacy recently took his to rank 4. It's a very cool rank. I think that Blade has really held up well because he was so strong where he's strong. And again, as the game grows, plenty of uses for him. Attuma. So I really like Attuma. I think I'm biased in a positive way towards him because of the Black Panther movie. I really enjoyed it. I like the character Attuma and Namor and all of that. So I kind of want to put myself in check on this one. He's going to be, I think, a tough defender. There's just no way around it. You're going to want to have an option for him. But again, this isn't a Battlegrounds video. I think his ramp's going to take a while. And that's the only thing that may prevent him from getting to top shelf. Talking about this, though, something just occurred to me. Both Shuri and Attuma seem to have a bit of a ramp. And I'm wondering if we're going to get a long-form content thing coming out in the next 6 months or so. Because both of those champions seem to be a little bit more tailored towards long-form content. Maybe Grandmaster's Gauntlet's coming back soon. I don't think it's going to be amazing for it. But I'm just curious. Let's keep an eye out for that. I got an eyebrow raised. I'm very curious about it. And then Tuma's, like I said, it's got that damage back capability. Plus his ability, I think it's to go unstoppable for an elongated period of time. Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. I like him. I want to get Attuma. This might be a champion where I finally do open some cabs after not opening cabs for a very long time. We'll see. We'll see. I like him. I want him. I think Super Premium is definitely his floor. And it's just a matter of how much farther up, higher up does he go in the tier list as we go and more people get him and the community discovers more. Okay. Let's go ahead and get to the Cosmic class there. There were some just changes, basically just in the tier above all. No promotions or demotions out of or into that tier, but I did make it reflect more my thoughts and feelings on it. Hercules is the best to me. He just is, it just is what it is. Cosmic Ghost Rider, Slayer of Gods keeps showing us just how many fights Cosmic Ghost Rider can take. I love Hulkling. I think Hulkling is Hulkling's like the perfect champion for MCoC right now. In that, or at least the perfect champion for like as strong as it should get. He's like as strong as a champion should get in MCoC to have the game feel incredibly, incredibly balanced. I think he's great. He's fantastic. He's phenomenal. You've known that though. You know I've liked him since literally day one of testing on the CCP server. Hyperion, the man just withstands time like a rock. It's amazing. Corvus, I know some of you think he should move down. I think this is what happens with Corvus though, and that's why I'm staying persistent in keeping him in that tier above all. We've seen this. Those of us who have played this game long enough know that when a new rank kind of comes out or becomes the new thing, like when rank 3s became the thing, everyone's like, oh, Corvus isn't as good because, story content or questing content got to the point where their health pools were a little too big. But then people started ranking their Corvus to the highest rank. Lo and behold, he could get champions down. He worked out phenomenally. We've just seen this cycle back and forth for a while before with him, the ebb and flow. I'm going to keep him there. If like a 6-month period of time goes by where Corvus just isn't able to hold up, we'll move him down. We'll reflect that. But I think as more and more people get rank 4s, I know people with rank 4s, they're destroying content with him. I think let's just leave him there because remember, the whole idea of this is to give folks a snapshot on what we're thinking. The only champion that really does have the microphone, though, is Gallon. Gallon's phenomenal. Again, I was like 4 pina coladas in on a pool deck in Cabo and was like, he's great. It is obvious. I just want to make sure he's not going to get nerfed. There are a lot of people. I'm fighting the good fight for you and for me. And showing Gallon it's the health pools of Battlegrounds and War. And there are certain fights with armor up that ramp him. There just are. I'm not trying to say he's not great. He is great. But where he's great, he just looks so dominant. And I think for folks who have not thoroughly tested him and tried to use him throughout content, they don't realize that he's not ending all the fights in 30 seconds. And I can understand why that's happening, but there is a strong vocal group of people who want him nerfed, and I don't. And I don't for a variety of reasons. And the first one is because I don't think it's justified. As a result, I'm leaving him there in top shelf. Because if he does get nerfed, I don't want to put him in tier above all, have people see that, rank him up, put in their hard-earned resources, right? Whether it's through money or time, either way, that's hard-earned. And then have him get nerfed. I don't want that. So I'm intentionally leaving him there in top shelf. That's where he will stay until we know for a fact if he's getting touched or not. If he's not getting rebalanced, he will move to the tier above all. Hope you enjoyed the rankings. I love doing this every month. Like I said, in December, we're going to get out some unique stuff. We're going to have some fun. And the intention will be debate. Healthy, fun debate, though. Not arguments. These aren't, this isn't meant to get upsetting. But to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a great time with it in December. I'm really looking forward to talking it through with you all. I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know about all these various champions I asked about. If you're using them in Act 7, if you're using them in Act 8, thank you so much for watching. Take care.
I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.